Hi, Anti-Society. Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we're getting into the last ChRocktikal, I'm still gonna trip over that, interview with, of course, Siyeon. We love her. I'm mostly just here for the fun of it. I don't know if I'm gonna get a ton of insight because I know quite a bit about her, at least like through her as a performer, going through like Dreamcatcher stuff. I also can understand why she would have put this group together, given like her influences as a performer and a musician. But I'm always here, like I can just to see her, but like I can literally hear her saying hello in my head. And it just makes me like a little bit giddy. Like I have a smile on my face at just like the idea of getting to watch a video of her, which that's on parasocial and not getting full Dreamcatcher content coming in. So that's where I'm at. Too excited, too excited. I need to come down.
안녕하세요. 크록티칼에서 프로듀서 겸 보컬 담당 이시연입니다.
I assumed that she would be doing like vocals, obviously.
저는 태어나서 기억이 있었다 싶을 때부터 뭔가 음악은 내가 음악을 하기 위해 태어난 것인가 라는 생각을 하게 될 정도로 자연스러웠고, 그리고 제 음악 스타일은 재미가 있고 개성이 있어야 된다고 생각합니다. 네, 재미가 없거나 개성이 없다면 듣지도 않고 부르지도 않아요.
I mean, I also feel like she was born for music. Like, how can you have a voice like that and just not be in like a band or whatever? And also she's just so much fun to watch. Like her expressions, the way that she even says there like something that has like character. I feel like Siyeon is always like doing something out of pocket or like trying new things. Like the live performance that I've seen, which you can check out over on Patreon, there's like full concerts over there now with Dreamcatcher because I need my fix at this point. But she always puts in like a little something different into the way that she's performing something, right? There's always this like little moment of like improv where she's changing a performance to go with what the vibe of it is. Again, a bit of a small pool for that with me, but it's definitely something that I feel like she always brings a little something to a performance. And we're getting into I was thinking that, I'm like, third debut. I'm like, you must have been born for music if you're gonna debut a third time, right? Like you're just gonna keep coming back.
첫 번째 데뷔. 네. 사실
Takes a certain
첫 번째
determination.
데뷔하는 것도 되게 힘든 일인데 세 번째까지 할 수 있음에 너무 감사하고, 그리고 여태 좀 다져왔던 저의 노하우와 뭐 그런 것들을 더 잘 보여드릴 수 있지 않을까 싶어요. 열심히.
You got the experience. She's so cute.
일단 원석이랑 트랙 쓸 때부터 뭔가 소통을 좀 많이 해서 그때 트랙 들으면서 영감을 받을 때도 있고, 그리고 저는 되게 특이한 게 그 가이드 녹음을 일본어로 하는 게 잘 되더라고요. 아무 뜻도 없는 세상 사람 아무도 모르는 그런 일본어로 하는 게 되게 잘 돼요. 그게 영감의 한 가지 아닐까 싶습니다.
That's interesting. Like, I feel like I don't know a lot about like the writing process, that specifically when it comes to like members of Dreamcatcher. I feel like I haven't dug into that as much. Definitely done some like behind the scenes stuff that is more about like the technicalities of performance or music videos, but not as much like in studio stuff. Let me know if you have any recommendations about that down in the comments, because I'd love to check that out because I am a nerd all of that. But it's interesting to see like her talking about the process of that, making like guide tracks, talking about like Japanese being something that feels a little bit easier or something that kind of influences the way that she's making stuff, which also like makes sense because she has some like influence, I know that she's talked about, from like Japanese music and like Japanese bands and stuff. So maybe that's like transferring over as some of that inspiration.
저는 볼에 바람을 좀 많이 넣어요. 약간 안면 근육을 푸는 느낌. 그리고 물을
Yeah,
한
hydrate.
10번에 나눠서 한 모금을 마시면 그거를 입이 이렇게.
Oh, so we're very precise about this.
여기 물이 있어요. 그러면 이걸 이렇게 한 10번씩 나눠서 마십니다. 목을 조금 더 유연하고 부드럽게 만들기 위해서.
The other ones are just like, I don't know. And she's like, I take exactly 10 sips.
화가 났어요. 화가 나서 티가 났을 거예요, 아마.
Yeah, you're not very subtle. The facial expressions.
그럴 수도 있지 않을까? 이런 생각을 좀 하면서 유연하게 넘어가려고 하는 편인 것 같습니다.
I think it's so interesting, like I said, that she has like a very precise like little ritual, but I think it also it's practical. I kind of love how a bunch of their before going on stage like habits are like, I need to make sure that I'm stretching or go to the bathroom, or I need to drink water because I'm going to be singing. So even though there's like a precision to like the habit of it, she's still like doing something that's specifically to be like, I need to like make sure that like my face is like jaw is like loose and stuff. Like you don't really think about is like the stretching that you even need to do to make sure your voice doesn't have like tension in it that you don't want. And there's so much that goes into that, which is bringing me back to what I used to be doing, like singing competitions and stuff. But like you do have to stretch before you're singing, even if you're like standing in place, let alone like doing a bunch of like choreography and stuff. Obviously that's different for the band, and like you need to make sure you're drinking lots of water. And it's interesting to see how that kind of transfers over. And I wonder if some of it is having that precision because she's done a lot more performances. Like obviously she's like the oldest in the group. I think she has the most experience. I know that some of them have done like other stuff before this, but I feel like Siyeon has like at least a bit more of a background in like performance and everything. And I think that transfers over to her like reaction to like making mistakes and all of that. That she's just at a certain point, it happens enough that you're like, things happen on stage. Like I always say that perfect performances don't exist. You can't expect everything to go the way that is planned. The professionalism isn't you don't make a mistake. It's how do you adjust to the fact that something's going to happen. So at a certain point, you're just like, it happens. Like there are things that you can't control in a performance and there are things that you can. And all you can do is pivot and make sure that you like recover well from things going on.
일렉 기타요.
Yeah, we have her learning guitar. Yes.
뾰은이라고 제 기타가 있는데 그걸 이제 배워서 사실 좀 노려볼까.
She's so cute. You can do it. I believe in you.
저는 가사요. 그러니까 그 노래에서 전하고자 하는 바가 뭔지 그런 거를 좀 파악하기 위해서 가사를 많이 듣는 것 같아요. 저는 마음 맞는 사람들이랑 약간 노는 거, 그리고 집에 있으면 게임을 해요. 쿠키들이 달리는 게임이 있거든요. 재밌어요.
I wasn't ready for the like cookie. She's so cute though. And I love that even in this setting, even me being like, oh, she has a bit of experience, there's still some of that like awkwardness of like, yep, that you just get with like interviews. And I love that they're keeping some of that in. Part of it is that they're doing this on a much smaller like company and budget and stuff like that, promotions and everything. But I think that leaving in those kind of like candid in between moments for all of the members helps let some of that personality come through. Even though we're getting very like small little snippets with these interviews, it's still a great way of showing all of the members and leaving in those little like in between moments to just be like, you can see some of their genuine personality come through. And it's really endearing to see like even Siyeon, who's performed a lot, done a lot of things, still has some of that awkwardness of just, I don't know what to do in an interview where I'm like by myself and I have to like answer questions. And then you're just like looking at somebody in between being like, I'm done my answer. They're like, oh, okay, I'll ask the next question. I say that as someone who used to interview people. You get that moment where you're like, okay, you're done. So I really appreciate letting some of that come through in like all of the interviews. And even with someone like, Siyeon, who's been doing this for a little bit, that we still get some of those like candid moments of, it's weird to be interviewed. Like it's weird to have to promote yourself and be like, yeah, you should definitely check out the thing that I'm making or whatever.
애견남들.
They all seem like cutie pies.
괜찮아요? 애견남. 네, 이거 들고.
I love that we're getting her laughter. I like seeing that she's having some fun.
네, 애견남들 부르셨어요?
네, 안녕하세요, 애견남들. 인사하세요.
They're so cute.
안녕하세요.
I was gonna say, like, they're literally lined up in a row. That's so cute. There was some conversation that we had on Patreon. I can't remember the exact one, but like at the moment I'm thinking ducklings, and I don't know if I'm taking that from a conversation or if I'm making it up. But it's so cute to see them all like lined up in a row when she calls them.
안녕하세요, 애견남들. 인사하세요.
안녕하세요, 애견남.
안녕하세요.
들어가는 거예요?
Yeah, there's the group interview, so I guess we all have to be together at some point to do that one. But it's so cute. I loved that, especially again, already knowing about Siyeon from like previous stuff that she's done and going into this. I feel like there's a different, I don't know, like vibe that she brings to it, and the way that she brings like the experience, the kind of like leadership of it. I know that this is something that she wanted to put together and is something that is off the kind of beaten track of her career before that point, right? This is something that she, almost like a passion project in a lot of ways, right? So it's interesting to see some of that like dynamic and how she's stepping into a lot of roles that she didn't have to have in the previous groups that she was in, right? Going from like Minx to Dreamcatcher, right? Like her role within that, obviously like bringing the vocals, but with a bunch of other people doing the vocals with her, having people who are have more of a background in like dancing and performance. She wasn't like the oldest or the leader. She wasn't like the youngest and being babied all the time, though. She is an honorary baby of the group. We all know this, but like her dynamic within those groups was that she got to feed off of the energy of all of these other people. And now it's a very different dynamic with this group, and also like how she fits into that because she's the oldest, because she has more experience, because she's doing the vocals by herself. So it's going to be really fascinating to see how she fits into that, because it's not usually how she has to fit into the other performances that I've seen from her. So really interested to see how it all comes together. They're very cute. I'm already endeared, which is obviously great that they put these interviews together, because it seems, at least from like scrolling through some of the comments and some of the comments getting from like patrons and stuff, that everyone is like on the same page of being like, they're really cute. I hope that we get to see some more stuff with them personality wise. Obviously there's time restraints, and like being able to put together something is always like a little bit more difficult, but excited to see what we get to with like the group interview and music and everything. Really cute interview. Like I said, I love that we got moments of her kind of laughing, and some of that's like nerve, some of that's taking away some of the awkward energy, and I think some of it is also just, it seems like this is something that she's having fun with, and that obviously there's going to be like different challenges and things that go into even the technicalities of making something like this happen, but it's nice to see that she's like having a fun dynamic with it. And considering that they didn't have a lot of time where they were rehearsing with each other before going into doing music stuff, it does make me very interested to see what the dynamic is between all of them, because yes, you can find yourself bonding with people really quickly when you're doing any kind of performance. I remember back when I was doing like stage performances and stuff, that you got super close with people super quickly because you were just spending like every waking moment with these people working on something and like collaborating, that you just had to pick up quickly how to work with each other. But it's going to be interesting to see the group interview and see like how their personalities work together and what the dynamic is, because we've got to see like little bits of it when they like passed off the interview at the end. But I'm very interested to see, like I was saying, how like Siyeon fits into this dynamic as opposed to what I'm used to seeing, because it's different being in Dreamcatcher with like people that she's known for a really long time, where her role within that group isn't to be like the leader, right? Like I look at Siyeon as like the main person spearheading this project, so that's like a very different thing for her as opposed to the dynamic I'm used to seeing, and like being in a girl group versus being in this group of like guys in like a rock band group is like very different things that we're trying to like accomplish with what that like sound and dynamic is as like a performance. So very interested to see how that all comes together, and I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can subscribe so the next time I post a ChRocktikal reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.